All right, we're live. All right, hello everybody again. I'm Richard from the MakeCode team, and I'm at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Shannon from the MakeCode team, and I'm at Shakao on the MakeCode forum.
And you can now see we have a little link to our forum over there. So please go ahead and check it out. We're also going to have a kind of companion discussion for this stream, and there's a lot of other cool games and things being posted there, so definitely check it out. You might notice that we have a different setup today. We're not in the same physical location. We're trying out our new remote setup. So hopefully everything comes through all right. If it doesn't, totally comment in the forum, and we'll try to make some fixes to make it a little bit better. All right, cool. So Shannon, what are we going to do today?
So today we are going to recreate a fan favorite game, Crossy Roads.
Yes, so Frogger, Crossy Road, whatever you want to call it. This is a game that we've seen a lot of people make their own versions of on the forum. And so we were hoping to just kind of go through, and we have not prepared this at all, so we're going to just try and implement the game on the fly, and we'll see how everything turns out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already on the MakeCode homepage, and I'm going to go ahead and start up a new project.
Yeah,
and we will call this
arcade.makecode.com for those following along at home.
And we'll call it definitely not Frogger. So we're going to be doing this in blocks today. I'm hoping that down the line we're going to be doing some JavaScript streams too, and maybe even Python. But for now, we're just going to stick with blocks and see how far we can get. So let's go over a little bit about what is in Crossy Road / Frogger. So you play as a character, an adorable animal, and we're going to hopefully be figuring out what the player sprite is going to be. And basically, you're trying to move upwards. And there's a bunch of obstacles in your way. So you're trying to cross roads where cars are coming in from the sides, or you're trying to drop across platforms that are on a river. And we're going to see how far we can get down that road in an hour. That was a pun intended. So real quick, let's do what we usually do at the beginning of a game. We're going to create the player sprite. So I'm going to drag out a set my sprite to, and we're going to rename this to the player. And now comes the first big decision. What are we going to draw? I mean,
well, we are legally bound to make it a cute animal now that you've said so live.
Ooh, I have an idea. We'll see. Right. We'll see if this comes through. That didn't work quite as I intended, but I'm going to erase some stuff now.
It's a centipede. It's a fish?
It is not a centipede or a fish. Both reasonable guesses.
It's Is it facing up? Is that the... No, it's facing us. It's a cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, whiskers are tough.
I think you got it. I think you...
Do you?
I guessed that it was a cat.
Do that. I'm going to give it an adorable pink nose. And fill it in.
Aww.
And we'll give it a little pink ears too.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. Cool. We got our cat. So let me go ahead and whoops. The team's preview is in the bottom of my screen, so I'm kind of trying to figure out how to press this button real quick. Got it. All right, cool. So now that I've drawn the sprite, we can see over here on the simulator, it has already appeared. Might be a little blurry on the stream. I'll try to go full screen whenever we're doing gameplay stuff. So you can see it right now. Right now it doesn't do anything. So let's get to the next part. So in Crossy Road and in Frogger, you don't move like we typically do in arcade games. So usually what we do is we drag out this controller move my sprite block. I change that to the player. And now when I move around, I can just kind of move in whatever direction. I can go diagonal. I can go up, down, left, right, and anywhere in between. But in Frogger and Crossy Road, you move on a grid. So you can move left, right, up, or down. And when you do, you're moving basically in the tile left, right, up, and down, if that makes sense. So we're not going to be using this block. I'm just going to get rid of it right now. Instead, let's drag out an on button pressed. So you can move in all 4 directions. You can move up, down, left, and right. So let's go ahead and do up first. And what's a good tile size for our game? 16 by 16?
Yeah, I think that's how big our hero player is right now, right?
Yeah, cool. All right. So our grid is going to be by 16 16s. So I'll go ahead and drag out this change. And I'm going to change the variable to the player. All right, so let's unpack this a little bit. So when the up button is pressed, it's going to change the player's X by 0. That's not right. We wanted to change the Y. And because we decided that our tile size is going to be 16, I'll go ahead and change this to 16. And let's try it out real quick. So now I'll press up, and it's going down. Right. Oh, whoops. I took a screenshot. All right. So let's change that to -16. And now when I press the up button, yeah, it's going up. Cool. So let's go ahead and do the opposite. I'll try and go slower, guys. Sorry, this is my still trying to figure out the pacing of all of this. So the easiest way to copy code in MakeCode is you can go into the toolbox and drag out all these blocks again. But because we're basically going to be doing the same code for all 4 of the directions, up, down, left, and right, we can just go on here, right-click, and choose duplicate, and that'll give us a copy. And so this is grayed out right now. That's because it's the same event. But as soon as I change this up to something else, like down, it'll pop back into color, and that means that it's working as intended. All right, and make that one positive. And so now we can move up and down. All right, and real quick, faster than before, I will go ahead and make the other 2. So we went left, we'll do left and right. And so instead of Y, we're going to change to X. And I think that's backwards. Yep. So I'll change this one to left and this one to right. All right, so now we can move around. I gotta say though, this black background is pretty boring. So let's go ahead and set a background color. What's a good one?
So what's our cat crossing? Is it roads?
It could be anything we want. What is a natural enemy to cats? Bikes, people with brooms.
Really large birds.
True. Yeah. I don't think they would be cool with that. Okay, so what if we go with like just a general outdoors setting, but
yeah,
not red. So is this a good dirt color?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, cool. We'll go with that, and then we'll kind of make our own obstacles as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So one other thing I'm going to do real quick is right now, when the cat moves, we're not following it. There's a really helpful block in here for making it so that the camera follows the cat. And so I'm going to go into scene. I'm going to go down to the camera section, and I'm going to drag out the camera follow sprite. Oh, and I need to change it to the player. And now when I move, it looks like I'm not moving, but I actually am. Okay, that was probably a bad idea. We'll just set this aside for now. Okay, so in Crossy Road / Frogger, the enemies come from the sides. So let's go ahead and do that. This is something that's pretty similar to what we did in the last stream. So creating enemies that come from the side. And we want it to happen every once in a while. So for that, we're going to be using, in the game category, there is an on-game update every 500 milliseconds. So this block is really useful and really simple. All it does is every time 500 milliseconds has passed, whatever code we put in here was going to run. We want to be creating enemies. So let's go into sprites, and we'll drag out another create block. All right. This time we're using projectiles. And we're going to be creating them from the side. All right, so what should our first enemy be?
An alligator.
Not making it easy on me. All right. That's our alligator mouth. Alligator's got a little eye bump. Put that in. And give it a pupil so it's less creepy. Get some teeth. I take it back. I think I'm pretty good at drawing out. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's great.
Okay, I'm gonna make this wider though. Let's do 24. And I will use this to move it over to the side.
Oh yeah, this guy's great.
Yeah, I like it. Oh no, I cut off the end of its mouth. Oh, whoops. Put that back up. Let me select it, move it over a little bit. All right, that's an alligator if I've ever seen one.
Here they come.
Yep, so here they come right away. They're moving at a diagonal, and they're moving a little bit too fast. Let's slow it down and make it just sideways. So the reason they're moving is because we're using the set projectile block, and that takes in 2 velocity arguments. So right now it's Vx50 and Vy100. We just want to move from the side. So we're going to always have Vy being 0 for all these projectiles. And there's our alligator. Let's set its position too, because right now it's a little too far to the left. And let's do halfway down the screen.
Yeah.
Here we go. We've got alligators. All right, so there's one problem with our game currently, which is, well, right now nothing happens when we touch an alligator. And you know what? Let's actually go ahead and do that real quick. So if you're having 2 sprites interacting with each other, we want to use the onOverlaps event. So I'll drag that one out, put it right here. So this is on sprite of kind player overlaps another sprite of kind player. We made our alligators projectiles, so we're going to go ahead and change it to projectile. And now whenever a sprite that is of kind player, so like our cat here, overlaps another sprite that is of kind projectile, like an alligator, whatever code we put in here is going to run. So we want the game to end because there are no lives in Frogger/Crossy Road. So let's go ahead and drag out the game over block, and we'll set it to lose. There we go. And I'm going to mute the simulator.
So that bar underneath the simulator has a lot of different useful things you can do. Yes.
So I just used the mute command right here, which turns sound on and off. We also have this keyboard here, which will show you the controls. You can do 2-player games, so it's always useful to have that. You can also take a picture of your game by hitting the camera. And we have full screen, and then the normal stop and restart and debug, which we will not be covering today, but hopefully we'll cover it in a later stream. How to figure out when there's a bug in your program. Okay. So right now, this is an impossible road to cross because there are no breaks in the alligators. We want to make sure that there's some breaks. So one way to do that is not always spawning an alligator. So let's go ahead into logic. And there's a really helpful block for doing things like this. So I'm going to drag out an if, and I'm going to move this overlaps so that it's out of the way. Let me just put it up there. So inside the math category, there is a block called %chance. And this is a really useful block. We can put inside here, and this code will only run 0% of the time right now. Which isn't very useful. You can see we have no alligators. So let's put it up to something like 50 and see how that is. Oop. All right, so now we have alligators coming. And I think 50% might be a little too low.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right. It's not actually that bad. I think we just kind of had bad luck at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
That might even be a little too much.
There you go. That looks about right.
Yeah, I think so. All right, awesome. So now we have a line of alligators. And now that we have things actually on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and take this camera follow sprite block, and I'm going to put it back into our program. So now we should be able to actually tell when I'm moving.
Oh.
All right, cool. And now for my own sanity, I'm going to go back to our block right here, and I'm going to make sure that it shows up above the cat so that we don't always game over at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So this is a good start. Should we make it so that there's more rows, I guess?
Yeah. Yes. Do we want to add roads or?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. So to do that, there are a couple different ways we could do it. I guess we have to make a decision now. So in Frogger, the world is not infinite. It only goes a certain amount of distance. In the Crossy Road, it kind of goes infinitely. You can just keep going, and your score will keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
Might be kind of hard to do infinite in blocks for now. I'm sure you could, but let's stick to a kind of...
We'll leave that one as a challenge to the viewer. If you want to make an infinite game, we'll post the code for this after, and you can try and mod it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go into the scene category because that's how we draw our world. We are going to use the tile map blocks. So in scene, underneath tiles, I have the set tile map 2. All right. This is a very useful block because it lets us actually, so we're moving on a grid right now, but we're actually going to be able to draw our landscape and put it on a grid so that the player can kind of tell what they're doing. So I'll open up the tile map editor. And all right, let's decide a size for our world. So the tile map, our tiles right now are 16 pixels wide. And right now our tile map is 16 tiles across. So how wide do we want it to be? That would mean that for 10 tiles would be the entirety of the screen. But we probably want to go a little bit on either side. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like 1 or 2 on either.
Mm-hmm. Well, then 16 is probably okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's drop it down to 14. Just to make it a little thinner. And then let's go ahead and make this just really tall right now, and then we'll make it shorter. Done. Okay. Let's go into the miscellaneous category because that is where the roads are. And let's start putting down some roads.
So another reason it works out well that our character is 16 by 16 and they're moving 16 by 16 is that this tile map, the size of each tile is 16 by 16, and those have to match up in order for the character's movement to match the roads.
Yep. Okay, so we have some roads. Alligators don't go on roads, though. What should the alligator be walking on?
That's true. A river?
Rivers kind of have a specific thing in Frogger. You jump across the river.
Oh, I see. What if you walked over the alligator? I know we did already code the alligator interaction.
True. We could do that. Let's put that on the back burner. Maybe we
Yes.
can do that later. But let's go ahead and fill in, while we're thinking about it, let's do the water. So I will draw a water tile real quick.
Yeah. White?
What? Throw in some white?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. You know what? Let's just do this all like that. Let's do straight lines. And then do white underneath.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll look better when it's actually. Oh, whoops, did the same thing again. Going to move my window a little bit over so I can hit this button. And then I will move it back. Yeah, that is some terrible water right there. Luckily, we can edit it. So I'll go in here and click edit. And because I'm just going to make it all solid blue, we'll know it's water. All right, cool. And let's fill in the background too. So we can go into forest, use the grass. Do you want to use light grass or dark grass?
Light grass?
All right. And we'll break it up a little bit. Okay. So let's add some more. So we've got, here's going to be the starting area, which will be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Got some rows, which we can put cars on later. Oh, we can put the path. That's probably a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I'm just kind of doing this randomly right now. We can go back in later and kind of tweak it to make sure that it feels okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let's make this less tall because I think we're... Oh, whoops. Undo that. Take all of the stuff we drew and move it up to the top. Reset this. All right, let's see how this feels. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. I think we're a little misaligned right now, right?
Yep. So let's change our starting position. So when we look at our tile map, the 0, 0 of the world is going to be up here in this top left corner. Our tile map is 14 tiles wide, so do some quick math. Because it's 14 tiles wide, we want to be halfway across, so we start in the center. So that would be 7 tiles, and 7 times 16 would be 70 plus 42, 112. So let's drag out the set position block and put it up here, tile map at the top. And got to change the variable, change the x to be 112. Cool.
Yeah.
So we also want to start at the bottom of the map. And to figure out our starting point, we can use the little coordinate preview in the bottom. So we're starting at 620. Does this look like a good spot?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So 20 would be 20 times 16 would be 320. And there we go.
Yeah.
Our cat's now down here at the bottom. All right. We got a problem though, and that is that our alligator is spawning way off the map. Or way up here.
Where are alligators spawning?
Yeah, where are the alligators? That's a good question. Oh, I see. The alligators are, because we're setting the position, the alligators are spawning off screen, so they're being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really easy fix to that, though, actually. So we're setting the X. We don't actually need to, though. We actually only really need to set the Y. So if we change the Y instead of the X, and we change it by, I don't know, 20. Oh, now they're all relative to the screen.
So what was happening before was the alligators are projectiles, and projectiles only live as long as they're within the screen. So we were setting them to be off the screen, so they were immediately deleting.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So maybe this isn't, maybe we shouldn't use projectiles for this one. Maybe we should just use regular strings. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll drag over here so we don't lose our alligator. And we're gonna go in here and make a new sprite. And we'll name this one alligator. And
think it might need to be in something.
Okay. So in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And we're going to change allied to kind enemy. And now we should have an alligator spawning somewhere. There we go. So just like before, we want to set the velocity. Do you remember what we had it at before?
0y. I think it was just 50.
Okay. Let's see if that looks right. Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah.
And we will also set Ali's position. And we're going to do one other thing real quick, which will make sure that the alligators get destroyed when we're done with them. So we're setting the position to 0, 0 right now. We want to set it so that it appears on one of these stripes.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want alligators in the water? That sounds right, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So to set our kind of locations, there's actually a really nice block in the scene category for this. So if we go into the scene category, we have the place my sprite on top of random tile block. So this is just the transparent tile right now, which we don't have any of our tile maps. But I'm going to drag this out. I'll get rid of the set position. And it already swapped the variable for me, so we don't have to do that. But we want to place Ali on top of a random water tile. So you'll notice that all of our tiles that we're using in our project appear in here. So I'll go ahead and select the blue. Now when we go up top, we see alligators spawning on random water tiles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not actually what we want, though. We want it to start from the left side. So to do that, we want to set the X to 16. And this will make it so that it spawns at the side like that. So there's a problem here right now, though, which I think we'll notice when we go over here. That is that all of our alligators are staying. They're not being destroyed when they go off of the map. So let's real quick go in, and we're going to set a flag on our alligator. So I'm dragging out the set my sprite stay in screen. That's a flag. I'm going to change the variable to Ali, and I'm going to change this to destroy on wall. So this might seem a little weird because we didn't draw any walls in our tile map. But one neat trick that you get when you have tile maps is that everything that is outside the tile map, so the box basically around where our tile map is considered a wall. So when I set this destroy on wall to be true, if we go up to where our alligator pileup was happening before, we should see they now disappear when they hit the edge.
Hey, what happened to our overlaps code?
Oh, it's over here.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. It's not running. Oh, right. Because we changed it from a projectile to an enemy. So we need to change this second argument. Mm-hmm. So change that to enemy. And there we go. There. It's working again. One other thing I noticed real quick is that we're not actually aligned on the tile right now because I did my math wrong. So we're over to the side. We need to add 8 to this.
And also to the X, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. That's way too high.
So the position we're setting is actually in the middle of our sprite.
Yep. So when we're talking about the XY, it is the cute little button nose on our cat protagonist. All right.
Nice.
We've got a game kind of going now.
Yeah.
So let's try and fill out some of these other enemy types.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What goes on roads? I know the answer to that. That was a question. So let's go ahead and do another one of these. So again, I'm right-clicking and I'm choosing duplicate, and this is giving me a second event block.
So these are special. Usually you can only have one of each kind of event block.
Yep. But you can have as many on-game updates as you want. Same with a few others like Forever. These ones are special and they don't take any really good arguments. So feel free to use them all over the place. All right. Now I'm going to embarrass myself by trying to draw a car.
You could always cheat and use our existing cars.
No, I won't do it. So what Shannon is referring to is in the gallery, we have a bunch of sprites, including some cars down here. But I want our game to have a cohesive theme. So I'm going to draw this one myself.
Yes.
All right, the best cars are red. Usually have wheels.
Often. What kind of car is it going to be?
Standard. Okay, then we go up like this to do the windshield.
Yeah, that's a car. Give it a window.
All right, go to windshield. And like a headlight and tail light. We'll lop off some corners.
Maybe another window in the back? Like smaller?
Get rid of this weird thing.
Maybe do white in the middle of each wheel?
I wouldn't say I'm happy with this car, but it's probably the best we're gonna get. Make the windshield slightly bigger.
What if you did red on the outside of each windshield, like the frame?
But the whole car's red.
Yeah.
I see. Like that. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually starting to look not completely terrible. And let's give it like a door.
Oh, yeah, good call.
It's a little bit of an odd placement. That.
Oh, yeah. That works.
And then we'll give it a back door too.
Cool.
All right. Nope. We spent enough time on the car.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I know it's not true, but All right. So we want the car to be on the road, so I'm going to change the water to the road. And also, I'm going to make a new variable because it doesn't make sense to call this one alley. So we will call it car. I will change all of these. All right, let's go up and see if we can see some cars.
Hey,
There we go.
those don't look bad at all.
I think
On
you're
the road. I
But
feel like.
okay, yeah, with the context of the road helping me along, yes, you can tell it's a car. So yeah, we'll go with that for now.
Cool.
All right.
And we are currently invincible to cars.
Are we? I think they'll. Yeah.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah,
Same
because they're
kind.
enemies.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's do something trickier. So right now we always have our alligators and cars going in the same direction. Let's reverse it for the cars, so that we have a little more, switch up.
Mhm.
So I can change this to Vx, make it negative. And the tricky bit is going to be figuring out what this x needs to be. So right now this will be creating a bunch of cars that'll probably disappear immediately. Yep. So do you remember how wide our tile map was?
14.
Okay, so 14 times 16. Oh boy.
Well, so the screen is 160 wide, and we just need one more on top of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
One tile over.
204 minus 16.
Yes. 176?
We'll see what happens. A little bit off.
A little bit more.
Make it 186. A little bit more?
Yeah. 196.
There we go. That's not that bad. We could go a little more. Let's just make it an even 200. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Well, our game is getting more difficult now. Still a few things missing. So one, I don't like this big blank area in our game. So let's go back and edit the tile map. What do we want to add down here? Another road?
Yeah, just some more obstacles. The cool thing here is, based on the way our code works, you can draw in a road and it'll automatically spawn cars onto it because we're spawning on any road.
Yeah, so the neat thing about this is I don't need to go and like put a car all over the place. I can just put it right on the... Oh, I know what's happening.
Is it a different tile?
No. So right now we are doing it a 50% chance to spawn a car on any road.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So it's spawning very few.
So maybe we just want to do this 100% of the time. See how that looks.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Wow, this turned out really well.
We have exactly the right number of roads for this.
Yeah. All right, cool. Now we've got a bunch of cars. Okay.
Sweet. Okay, we have about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Do you want to add a way to win?
Yeah, let's do that. So let's go back to our tile map and let's go ahead and put a goal here. What should we use for the goal?
Plants. The freedom of the wilderness.
So something like that?
Yeah.
And we'll say that this is the victory point up here.
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and make these walls so that you have to go up through this point, and then we'll use some code to check when you're here. Let's go ahead and click the wall button, and I'll draw my walls on top of my plants. So if you click the show wall, you can see which are walls and which aren't. And let's use a tile to indicate that this is the end. Man, there was water in our tile set.
Oh, man.
No.
No, we can't do a big river, though. Yeah.
Okay. So what is a good thing to indicate the wild? Maybe we should just use the dark grass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's head on up.
Ooh.
Okay. Looks the dark grass. I'm also going to change the background color so it looks a little bit better with the plants. Make it dark green. And so we want to win the game when we overlap with that tile. So because all of the tile map blocks are in the scene category, we can go ahead back into there and find the block for when we overlap a tile. That is right here. So when a sprite of kind player overlaps, right now this is the transparent tile. I'm going to go ahead and change that to this one. And just where like we got the game over lose before, we're going to go into the game category and pull out game over. But this time we'll change it to win. All right, let's see if we can win the game. Let me make full screen.
Oh, yeah. Up the stakes. Oh. Other grain tile?
Yep, looks like I chose the wrong one.
No, wait.
Oops. Something is wrong with our code. So it is definitely the other one.
Yeah.
Did we find a bug?
We could try debugging, I guess. But
We've only got 13 minutes
yeah.
left. Let's not introduce the debugger. Okay. Well, we got pretty far in our Frogger Crossy Roads clone. It's not quite there yet. There's a few things we didn't get to. Hope maybe we can finish this another time.
Yeah.
Let's go over briefly what we did. So we had a tile map that we used to define our world. It's this guy right here. And we used the tile spawn blocks to create enemies. So we have these two loops, which are creating our alligators and our cars. And we're setting some properties on there, like their speed, and putting them on top of the appropriate tile. We used the %chance block to make it so that we didn't have too many of them. And we used the controller blocks for controlling our movement. And then finally, we had some code for when the overlap happened. And oh yeah, here it is. So when the sprite of kind player overlaps other sprite of kind enemy, we changed it to game over. So if we go through the things that we're missing, we need a few more types of cars. You should drown when you go into water, and we also need logs that you can hop across. So maybe we'll come back to this in another time and try to finish it out. But we'll definitely post the code as it is right now and put it in the forum. And feel free to take it and remix it if you have an idea.
We would love to see anything you come up with.
Yeah, totally. So I I think that's about it for us today. We wanted to plug a few things real quick. So right now we have the MakeCode Arcade one-room jam going on. Shannon, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So if you go to aka.ms/gamejam, it'll take you to a page with more information. But we're running a game jam, which is basically like a hackathon where you design a game. And the theme for this one is one room. And so that means your game has to take place in one room. And that can be any kind of room. So a room in a house, a room on a spaceship. It could be, a cave, which is kind of a room. So it's up to you. And the only rule we have is that the game must include exactly one tile map.
Yep.
So
go check out our forum where we have all of the details on this. We're doing it through itch.io, so just like we did with our last game jam. But we've had some feedback that people are trying to look for something that's not itch.io for submitting games. So we're going to be looking into that in the future and seeing if we can make it a little bit easier, especially for classrooms of students. But for now, totally participate. I'm making a game. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Check out our forum, forum.makecode.com, and we're going to be doing this every day at 1 p.m. So tune in next time. This is the advanced show. So we have 2 different arcade shows that are going to be going. One's going to be at more of a beginner for kids type of content, and one will be more advanced stuff with arcade, which is being done by the developers on the MakeCode team. So that's me and Shannon, and we're going to have some other guests coming on too.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, cool. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
See you guys tomorrow, probably.
Yep. All right. It's been us. See ya.